Trump says the Middle East is closer than ever to being free from the Iranian regime and its threats. This as CENTCOM announcing today an additional 3,500 U.S. troops have now arrived to the Mideast. Our Lucas Tomlinson is live from the White House with the latest developments. Hi, Lucas.
Good afternoon, Aisha. And over 2,000 of those Marines are aboard the USS Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group, which CENTCOM says is now in the Arabian Sea. And while speaking in Miami, President Trump had a very specific number in mind about how many more targets there are to destroy inside Iran.
We're just floating over the top looking for whatever we want, and we're hitting it. And we have another 3,554 targets left. And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do.
Recall, the White House said this war will last 4 to 6 weeks. Today marks 1 month of this war kicking off inside Iran. Now, after another B-2 strike in Iran, those missions flown around the world from their base in Missouri, Secretary of State Marco Rubio thinks no ground troops will be needed.
We can achieve all of our objectives without ground troops, but we are always going to be prepared to give the president maximum optionality and maximum opportunity to adjust to contingencies should they emerge.
Now, a recent Iranian strike hit an air base in Saudi Arabia, which damaged a number of KC-135 refueling planes. USS Tripoli, in addition to those 2,000 Marines on board, there's also a sizable aviation component, including F-35 stealth fighter jets. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who you had on in the last hour, Aisha, gave this reason for why those Marines are needed.
You do move it there for a purpose of leverage and negotiation. Mr. Witkoff's position is much stronger when there's a bunch of Marines sitting on your doorstep. This is not time to pull back. They still have systems. You can see they're still able to fire rockets, missiles.
And one of the goals of this war right now is to open up the Strait of Hormuz. There's a number of islands located just outside the strait, some of them claimed by the United Arab Emirates, that are controlled by Iran. Perhaps that's a destination potentially for those Marines. Right now, the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier is no longer in the fight. She's doing a port call in Split, Croatia. And her relief, the USS George H.W. Bush, that aircraft carrier set to sail anytime this weekend from Norfolk. Aisha?
Okay, Lucas Tomlinson, live from the White House. Lucas, thank you.
The American people don't want it. I don't want it. It has to end. And I know what it feels like to be sent on a mission and to have the weeks slip by and the months slip by and the years slip by and to people forget about you and to forget about the grueling missions that you do, and you see people die month after month and year after year. And I'm committed to not letting that happen again.
The Pentagon is weighing sending 10,000 more troops to the Mideast, and the Israeli defense minister says they will escalate and expand attacks on Iran. For more, let's bring in former Iraqi invasion commander and Heritage Foundation visiting fellow retired U.S. Marine Corps Colonel Mike Jernigan. Mike, thank you very much for your service and for joining us today. I want to ask you about ground troops. There's been a lot of talk about this, and people have different feelings about it. We've got U.S. Central Command saying they've just sent in about 3,500 sailors and Marines to the Mideast. How do you read this? Could this just be another negotiating tactic to help somebody like Steve Witkoff with the Iranians, or do you feel like we're amping up for a ground invasion?
Aisha, thank you for having me. And those are great questions. And I love your previous commentator. What he said is that people pay attention when Marines are off the coast. And that's what we're doing, is that right now we have a policy in America of peace through strength, but also now we're trying to get to negotiating with strength. And so the Marines add additional capability to the CENTCOM commander for a variety of missions that they can do. So the other value of the Marines is that based on the ship, they can go conduct amphibious raids and then return to the ship, take a shower, and do the same thing tomorrow. So we talk about boots on the ground. And rarely has anything happened internationally in a war without some sort of personal investment. And we've got pilots flying and they have a personal investment. But once you get the soldiers from the 82nd Airborne and the Marines from the 2 Marine Expeditionary Groups, it now becomes more closer and personal. And why that's important is the Iranians think that they have a lot of targets that we're not able to strike because perhaps they are too close to a populated area. Whereas the Marines can go in, take a target, destroy it, seize what is there, and then return back to the ship and reset and do it again.
Well, on that, let me share with you, this is an op-ed written by the former Obama Nuclear Defense Assistant Secretary Andrew Weber in the New York Times. And he said, look, I spent 2 decades securing nuclear materials. Here's what it would take to get Iran's. He says it would be next to impossible for American and Israeli special forces to land in hostile territory and easily extricate or destroy Iran's fissile material. To be sure that its highly enriched uranium is identified and disposed of would require a large and prolonged on-the-ground military presence or the cooperation of Iran's government. Do you agree with that?
Partially. I love what he says, next to impossible, not impossible. And that's what our American Marines do every day, is they train for the seemingly impossible. So specifically, it will take a physical presence to go in and seize the 940 odd pounds of enriched uranium that I believe. But somebody's going to go in, take it, and keep it away from the Iranians. And that requires a physical presence for however short a time. But difficult is not the same as impossible. And our American Marines, they train for the difficult and near impossible every day.
Okay, I want to also get your comment on this new Reuters exclusive report that the U.S. can only confirm about a third of Iran's missile arsenal has been destroyed. That's according to sources to Reuters here. They write, the assessment, which has not been previously reported, shows that while most of Iran's missiles are either destroyed or inaccessible, Tehran still has a significant missile inventory and may be able to recover some buried or even damaged missiles once the fighting stops. Does that sound like a problem to you?
It sounds like a challenge. It doesn't sound like a problem. I remind your viewers that Iran is the size of 2 states of Texas. So if you put Iran across the United States East Coast, it would go from Maine to Florida and stick out to about Kentucky or Tennessee. So that's a lot of area to find individual units that are hiding in holes, driving their mobile missile launchers out, shooting. Just in the last day, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Iraq, all have reported attacks from Iranian missiles. So yes, it will take some time to go find all of those locations with all of the individual commanders who have been given the authority to launch at whatever target they want.
Is that what you think we should do? Go and find?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
One of the original objectives of this war was to make sure that the Iranians do not have a short and mid-range ballistic missile capability and destroy their inventories. And as recently as this weekend, we've learned that their range is much larger than what the Iranians have been telling people. So absolutely, I think for the safety of the Mideast and the safety of Israel and the safety of Americans, that we need to make sure that Iran doesn't have the ability to launch ballistic missiles at their neighbors, at any American targets, or at any peace-loving people.
Yeah, either that or we hope that they capitulate. I think that's what the president would like to see, and don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Thank you so much, Mike. Great to see you. Great insight.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.